Are we witnessing the second coming of Nomaschenko? No Diddy. Or, speaking of no Diddy, is Ryan Garcia right in saying that Kambosos just sucks? What is up, boxing fans? Xicana Boxing here. Welcome to my channel. And if you already subscribed, what is up, boxing bestie? Nice to see you back. If you want to be a boxing bestie, go ahead and subscribe, and we'll take it from there. Now, George Kambosos must either have like a degradation kink, or he just likes to get, just embarrassed in front of his hometown, because this is the third time that he gets his ass beat in front of his hometown in Australia. And even though that's happened 3 times, it's only been with 2 fighters technically, because the last time it was by Devin Haney, when Devin Haney went to contest for the belts for at Kambosos' hometown, and then defended them there because that was just what the rematch said. But Lomachenko became the second guy to completely outclass Kambosos in his home turf, and with that, taking the IBF lightweight championship that Devin Haney left behind, and that Lomachenko couldn't take from Devin Haney officially. The fight itself was, entertaining, but not really competitive in the way that Kambosos did what Kambosos does, and he, gives it a go, mate, right? He gave it a go, mate. But that's about it. Lomachenko was very much in control, after the third round, just completely giving Kambosos nada que hacer. No sabía ni dónde meterse el pobre muchacho. And even though, Lomachenko had already, visibly made Kambosos very uncomfortable with both his angles and combinations, it was until the 11th round that Lomachenko landed a left that would put Kambosos on the canvas to the body. And then I believe he ended it with, a shot to the head, and everybody threw the ref threw. I believe the ref was gonna stop it as the corner threw in the towel. So even though Lomachenko's like, I'm not Nomaschenko because the ref stopped it, it kind of is Nomaschenko, because even though the fighter itself didn't quit, the corner quit for the fighter. So I think, in my opinion, it kind of still applies. But I guess with that being said, there's also a lot of people who feel like that Lomachenko win. I expected that outcome, and it unfolded, and it was still entertaining to watch. But a lot of people like to remind those, using this opportunity to maybe hype a Lomachenko, that it's just George Kambosos, right? And even though George Kambosos is a former unified, undisputed, whatever you want to say, right? I'm not going to get into that right now. But that basically depends on you whether or not you want to claim that either Teofimo, Devin, or Kambosos were at one point undisputed. But basically, Kambosos beat Teofimo at a very weird point in Teofimo's life that I think a lot of fans can definitely recognize. We can see it happening right now. While I don't want to take anything away from Kambosos, the fact that he has not really stood up to the competition that you would think would suit him after beating someone like Teofimo, who did great against Lomachenko and then has his ups and downs, but it's still Teofimo, right? So, maybe you can say it's the styles with Haney that it didn't benefit Kambosos. And, even though Lomachenko's a little bit still technical, he's still a little bit more come forward. But I just think Kambosos is very limited, and the people who are, pointing this out are valid in doing so. And in my newsletter that you should definitely sign up to on my website, xicanaboxing.com. On my newsletter, I discussed how even though Lomachenko did look great, and we did see hints of those angles and that, that speed, that confidence, right, that Nomaschenko had back when he was like 126, right, at 130. But you can still see signs of him aging in the way that he's all beat up. Lomachenko, even in the lower weight classes, didn't take as much punishment, in my opinion, he's taking now at 135, because I always felt like Lomachenko was too small for 135, but he's pushing it, right? So that's why now, we can once again entertain the possibility of a fight with Tank Davis, who is, champ right now as well in the division. But that fight is the least likely to happen, again, like I mentioned in my newsletter, because even though you can argue that it was Tank that was avoiding Lomachenko back then, I think it would be pretty fucking stupid to say that it wouldn't benefit Lomachenko to never see Tank in the ring right now. And, given that he's seen his best days and it seems like Tank is just getting. While you can say that Shakur Stevenson is with Top Rank, and while he's, a WBO champ, we can make that happen. Is he WBO champ or But, he's champion as well, Shakur Stevenson. So a lot of people are saying, hey, top rank, let's unify. But we've seen not only Shakur go off on Top Rank claiming that he's going to leave them as soon as he, that this is his last fight. He's implied in the Sean Porter podcast that he doesn't like the opposition that Top Rank gives them. And most recently, he went on Twitter to accuse Top Rank of being racist, right? I wasn't there. I'm not going to speak on the allegations, but it's not the first time somebody calls Top Rank racist. I don't see that fight happening with Lomachenko because not only does Shakur feel like that they will protect, they're protecting Lomachenko, especially now at this older age. I'm talking like he's a fucking senior citizen. But, in boxing, it makes sense, right? That they might not want to have now, especially in his last freaking fight. They're not going to want to give Shakur Stevenson another contract to come and maybe beat Lomachenko. I don't know. Point is, that fight I don't think is going to happen because I don't think Shakur is going to stay with Top Rank. What might be a possibility, though, is the winner of Navarrete versus... And this is going to happen this upcoming Saturday. And for that belt, it's more likely that Navarrete, because he's had losses before and because he's just not scared, because his style is just that awkward that I do see him giving Lomachenko problems, and I would actually love to see that fight. But I feel like he would, be more willing to make that fight happen with Lomachenko as opposed to a Shakur. Even though William Cepeda, right? El Camarón Cepeda, that man has just since upsetting Hector Tanajara from RGBA back in I don't know, this was at the BMO, so 2020, late 2020, maybe between 2021, right? El Camarón Cepeda just came out on nowhere and just completely put his name on the map and put a dent in the division, and he's right there, right? He's right knocking at the doors of these champs, and I feel like this would be a good fight for Lomachenko with Camarón Cepeda because while Camarón Cepeda has a lot of great output, we haven't seen him against a boxer, tactical, guy who's also a counterpuncher like Lomachenko. So I think I would love that fight too. And given that, Oscar de la Hoya raves about having such a great relationship with Bob Arum, I don't see why that wouldn't be a great mega fight to make, right? And regardless of how you feel about Lomachenko, how anybody felt about Lomachenko becoming champion again or getting another title shot or whatever it may be, the thing is that Lomachenko, as, older as he may be than the young guns coming up and that are causing fucking ruckus in the division, at least we can... I'd rather see Lomachenko fight for these belts than Kambosos. No offense again to Kambosos, not taking anything away from him. I'm not trying to Ryan Garcia him right now, but I just feel like he would have gone and just not looked as great, right, against the champions. And I think Lomachenko, even though he's older, that style is going to give anybody problems, anytime. But also, it will be so much cooler to see these young guns, other than Haney, right? Because that was very highly controversial and contested that, that fight shouldn't have, whatever. Point is that, Lomachenko, it makes a better fight, in my opinion, than Kambosos against any of the current champs or any other guy in the division, truly. As for Kambosos, I do respect him not only, again, for, taking these beatings in his hometown, but also because the guy still chases the big paydays, and I think he's going to continue to. And good for him and good for Lou DiBella, honestly, because just after his fight, he did have Twitter fingers with Ryan Garcia. Right? Ryan Garcia was just tweeting his thoughts. He was probably just casually keeping up when I was like, oh, sucks. Right? And then he sees this very emotional response for Kambosos. And again, when you test positive for a PED test, I don't think you're ever going to live it down. So, Kambosos kind of took that route. And I love how Ryan Garcia just went on a video and was like, I'm literally in the Bahamas right now. Who the fuck is George Kambosos? I don't even give a fuck about about you, George Kambosos. And honestly, like, I felt that. I felt that because I felt like this reaction was too much from George. Like, too much. And then he just snowballed it because then Ryan Garcia slid into his wife's DM talking about you are gorgeous. You are gorgeous. I don't lose my love. So he's like sliding into this woman's DMs. Like, and of course, Kambosos' response saying, fuck you, cheating dog, right? But the point is that Ryan Garcia and George Kambosos can definitely happen just because of this, right? Just because they can keep this going, and George Kambosos can get a payday like that. Just anybody moving forward who fights Ryan Garcia, in my opinion, is gonna get a fucking payday. And he's, you know, he's like telling him, hey, fight me. You know, who else called out Lomachenko? Freaking Jojo Diaz called out Lomachenko. That was weird. Like, bro, just retire, please. 1, 2. Why? Like, y'all don't get title shots. Another thing that kind of pisses me off. Like, Jojo Diaz, you had your title shots. And also, like, you miss weight and you're always just doing the most. Like, you are texting, you know, teenagers, sending them, like, inappropriate pictures, like, on some pedophile shit. Like, please get the hell out of the sport. But also just, you don't deserve another title shot, bro. Like, you don't. Like, back up. So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments about whether you think we have Nomaschenko right back, right? He's going to avenge maybe that Devin Haney loss. Some people are saying rematch Devin Haney. I don't think that's going to happen because, again, Devin Haney's now 140. I don't see Lomachenko moving up to 140 now that he has a belt at 135. But, you know, like, let me know what you would like to see Lomachenko do next, right? And if you believe that he's going to be still that top dog in the division, and that the ESPN magazine and Ring Magazine, ESPN are gonna be like freaking just so wet off of him all over again, right? Calling him number one and erasing his losses. Let's find out. Now the undercard was extra epic as well because we had Pedro Guevara, who fights out of Sinaloa, Mexico, fight for the vacant interim title for the WBC, and he beat Maloney fair and square, right? It was a competitive matchup, but Guevara had really good body work early on. And well, actually the entirety of the fight, honestly, his body work was really good, and his work rate was better. And I think because Andrew Maloney was like, so, you know, if you ask Andrew Maloney, he's like, no, what the heck are you guys talking about? Like, I won that fight. I was in control. I was in control the whole time. So I feel like because he dead ass believes that, you know, he was in control the whole time. And during the fight, he thought he was in control the whole time. He didn't really feel like he had to push it in the later rounds, you know? And that makes sense because he's clearly delusional, claiming that he won the fight and blaming it on corruption, even though it was a competitive fight. The clear winner, in my opinion, and it seems to be that way for a lot of other people outside of Australia, who seem to feel like Guevara won fair and square, and already making memes about Andrew Maloney, and this was my favorite.
I beat him. Everybody out there know I beat him. Everybody out there know I beat him. I controlled the fight. He was missing. I hit him clean more times. I beat him. I did this for the hood. Y'all know I beat that boy.
That is a late drop. Retirement ball.
The post-fight was amazing because, you know, I don't think Guevara expected to get the nod, you know, away from his home, not only away from his hometown, but in enemy territory. But watching them jump up and down, literally, Chef's Kiss, I love it. Wholesome, I love this song. And he was very gracious, right? Guevara was like, hey, I'll give you a rematch, whatever. Maloney was like, no, fuck that. Like, I'm done. Like, you know, screw that. It was corruption. And it's like, bye. Another weird ass part of the night is that the announcer actually got the name wrong for one of the undercard winners, Chinurka Johnson, I believe her name is, dethroned Nina Hughes via majority decision. But, you know, the announcer mistakenly called it the other way around when he announced it. So the telecast had to later, very rudely, by the way, call out the mistake and fix it on the telecast, but also just basically shame the poor, you know, ring announcer for that mistake. Which honestly, it as unprofessional as it is, like, come on, there's a big card, don't up like that. But also, you know, shit happens, and the ESPN commentators were like really set on like making this guy feel like for some reason, or just like, it's like, look at this idiot. I hope he doesn't do this again in the main event. And then once Lomachenko won via knockout, They're like, well, good thing that now the stupid announcer didn't have to fuck up again, is basically what they were saying. Now, moving on to other boxing news this weekend, we had Jessica McCaskill tried to defend her belt in Wales against former Olympic champ Lauren Price, and it was a very competitive matchup, but man, Jessica McCaskill was getting pieced up since the first round, and she just doesn't have very good defense. But in her latest fight, she's just been getting pieced the fuck up, and this was no exception. But an accidental head clash, I believe in the 5th round, was what caused this big old cut in her eye that swelled it up, and she wasn't able to. Oh my god, my cat. She wasn't able to, continue basically, and they stopped the fight in the 9th round, and Price won by technical knockout. I'm sorry to move my cat. Girl, another wholesome weekend boxing news. We had Eduardo Rocky Hernandez propose to his girlfriend, partner, and after he got a victory, a 7th round knockout victory over his opponent, Daniel Lugos. And it was just wholesome to see. I love to see it. Yes, Rocky Hernandez has had losses, and yes, maybe he might not be up to par with the championship level guys, but as we saw in his previous fight with Oshaki Foster, this guy can give a hell of a fight. That's why they won round of the year, if I'm not mistaken, right? They won round of the year. And if they didn't, that shit was still good. So Rocky Hernandez actually gives us really good matchups, and in this division where it's so stacked, I would love to keep seeing him, and just wholesome, and he won. So there's another boxing update. And in the same card, we had a very controversial women's draw with Erika Cruz, who was defending her belt against Nazarena Romero. Yeah, was supposed to defend her WBA junior welterweight title, and the judges scored at 97-93 for each fighter, with a third card at 95-95. So a lot of people felt that Cruz actually lost, and she just got like the hometown, little, here's some, here's 500 pesos. Just say Erika's name, right? Now, this weekend, we have the pay-per-view for Saudi Arabia, DAZN pay-per-view, Fury versus Usyk. And I do want to have like a fight watching private Zoom party or something like that, where we can all be together and like watch the fight. Obviously, you don't have to be in it the whole time. You can kind of come in and out of the chat room. So go ahead and let me know in the comments if that's something that you'd be interested in. And then follow me across social media so that you can see the details on how I'm going to go ahead and, coordinate that. But definitely that's happening next week. I'm super excited. Usyk versus Tyson Fury. If you know me more on like a social media level outside of YouTube, you know how much I love Alexander Usyk. Like I just love this man. I'm sorry. Like he's so funny to me. And Tyson Fury, as talented as he is, he's funny when he says Dosser and calls Anthony Joshua a big stiff idiot and all that. Like, he's funny, but also he's just doing too much. And so is his dad, and his whole family's kind of like wacko, and he's just doing too much. And the whole little Saudi card is good, right? We have the return of Kovalev, which is like, what? Kovalev, right? The Kovalev, the Crusher, right? He's coming back. So I'm in, right? He's in the cruiserweight division now. I'll watch, right? I'm tuning in. So if you want to also tune in, stay tuned for those details. And we also have Navarrete versus Dennis Verinchik. Yes, like I mentioned, this is for the vacant WBO lightweight title. So whoever wins this can definitely fight Lomachenko, Tank, or Shakur if they want to unify. And then we also have Giovanni Santillan coming from knocking out Alex Rocha, right? He had like a really good upset victory last year at the Forum against Golden Boy's fighter Alex Rocha. And then we have Richard Torres, the guy who plays, acts like Nacho Libre. He's funny outside of the ring. I wish he took on better opposition. I think that's just more top-ranked matchmaking than anything. But he's funny on social media, so I'll give him that, right? Charlie Sheehy, lightweight, just up-and-comers from Top Rank. Alan Garcia, you definitely want to keep your eye on him. Out of Wild Card Boxing with Coach G. Shout out Coach G. And yeah, recently announced. We have another top ranked card recently announced out of Vegas. Seems like a lot of good little prospects. Cortez versus Noah is probably the fight that I'm looking forward to the most. Though Espinosa Chirino is really exciting too, just because Chirino, in my opinion, it's been a while that he's been in the conversation and he's finally getting a title shot. And Espinosa is honestly the best guy to do it because he just got it and it was a very close fight. And I think Chirino definitely has enough what it takes to make it interesting. Right, and then they announced Shakur Stevenson versus Artem, which I don't know his last name, just like he said in the Portaway podcast. I'm not about to butcher it, but Shakur Stevenson talked about this fight. This is the guy that fought. I forgot who he fought. But anyway, yeah, like this is supposed to be Shakur's last fight with Top Rank, and he's just like whatever about it, right? Like he's not very happy about it. I'm not gonna say much other than just go look at his tweets and check out his interview at the Porterway podcast, because he definitely goes in on that. In that undercard for that card, it's Oshaki Foster versus Kansei Sao, and I know a lot of people are like, damn, Kansei Sao gets another motherfucking title shot, but also he has a good style, and Oshaki Foster, he also has a very good style, so I'm not mad at it, right? I'm just not. And then, of course, we have Krayshawn returning. Who's he fighting? Let me check. He's fighting Madueño. And call me a casual, but I'm going to have to box strike that. But anyways, there comes the end of the video. Please let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Lomachenko's back? Do you think he can beat, the winner of Navarrete versus Barachik? Do you want him to fight Tank? Do you think that fight can even happen? How much money do you think now that the Saudis are involved, we can maybe, that maybe is not that far from happening, right? What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys on the next one.